All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Aaron Barber. I'm your race director for McDowell Mountain Frenzy, and this will be your video race brief for this weekend's event. Just going through the video, we'll talk about the most important stuff in the beginning, entrance, pack and pick up, all that stuff. Once I start talking about courses, that we're just going to go through the courses from there. So if you hear me starting to talk about the 50-mile course and you're running the 5-mile and you know the course already, or you run the event in the past, you can just stop there. If you don't want to listen to the whole video, it'll be front loaded with important information. So to start off, packet pickup is going to be Thursday, which is tomorrow, or Saturday. So Thursday is going to be at the Aravaipa headquarters. It's on our website, right in this location. But it's at Aravaipa headquarters, Thursday, noon to 6. It'll be drive-through style. And then also on Saturday morning before the event, we'll be starting at 6:15 a.m. No Friday packet pickup. And if you do have anyone looking to run the race, there's still plenty of room. They can sign up to run the race either of those days, either on Thursday or Saturday. Online registration is closed, but cash, credit card, whatever, they all work on Thursday and Saturday for late registration and packet pickup. Entrance into the park. We're going to open the gates. The first race starts at 7 a.m. for the 50-milers, 7:30 a.m. for the 50K. The gates open at 6 a.m., so there's no use getting there before then. I just talked to the park supervisor today. They'll be opening them up at 6 a.m. There's really no need to be there earlier than that. For 50-milers, parking, there's plenty of parking right up close to the event, so you won't have to walk a super long way or take a shuttle or anything like that. It's mostly going to be standing around watching the sunrise and getting ready to go. But 6 a.m. is when the gates open for a 7 a.m. start, and then 7:30 after that for the 50K. 25K goes off at 8 a.m., 8:15 for the 10-mile, 8:30 for the 5-mile. Speaking of parking, there we go. We'll show you how everything's set up here. There is plenty of parking. We'll start with that. Right on site, no shuttling or anything like that. We're going to be at McDowell Mountain Regional Park, right where Javelina is hosted. Javelina is in this north lot. The Four Peaks lot will be down at the Comtrack lot on the south side. So if you volunteered for Javelina or you've camped in your car, this is the same spot that we host the McDowell Mountain Frenzy race. So as you can see, this parking lot is quite sizable. We can fit the majority of the cars in here. We do have parking volunteers and staff members. Overflow parking will not be on the road. It will be in the Four Peaks lot over here. Do not try to park on the road. Really just listen to the staff and volunteers, and we will guide you where to go. Once this comp lot is full, we'll be sending people over to the Four Peaks lot. This will likely be mostly 5-milers and 10-milers, the latest people to arrive. It's maybe a quarter-mile walk, not super far. Great chance for a little warm-up before your race. There will be a coffee truck on site, coffee on the run, at all the Dirt Series events. We'll be here again in the morning and throughout most of the day serving up the hot beverages. There'll also be a food truck at this race. So if you're hungry, there will be one single food truck. If you don't like their offering, you'll have to head over to Fountain Hills or bring a cooler. But there will be food on site. Let's get into drop bags and pacers and all that fun stuff. So 50K and 50-mile, U2 distances have drop bags available. There's one drop bag spot for remote, and that'll be at Dixie Mine Aid Station. Anyone is allowed to have a drop bag at the start finish, whether you need, even if you're running like the 10-mile, if you have like a sweatshirt that you want to leave at the start finish, there will be a safe spot to put those. There'll be a cone near the medical tent that just says start finish drop bags, and you're free to put whatever you want in those. The remote drop bags for Dixie Mine, they're going to be leaving there right after the 50K start. So once the 50K goes off, we'll send the drop bags out. Getting them back, it's difficult. It's like a 40-minute drive to get to Dixie Mine each direction. So getting them back, if you use your drop bag just put it in the used drop bag pile, and we will try to get it back whenever we send like a resupply truck, or if there's a dropped runner. For any reason, if there's a truck going to Dixie Mine and back to headquarters, we'll load up the used drop bags and bring them back. Aside from that, Dixie Mine closes at 6 p.m., and then they break down the aid, and drop bags might not make it back till 7 or 8 p.m. would be the latest they're back at headquarters. Headquarters as in the race. We will be on site since there's mayhem night runs going on. I'll be on site basically all weekend, so you're free to pick up your drop bag either Saturday evening. We'll be on site Sunday as well for the mountain bike rides until about 8 p.m. that day. And then after the weekend, they come back to Aravaipa warehouse where we hold them for 30 days. After 30 days, it gets donated or disposed of. And in that time, you can contact us and we can arrange shipping or come and stop by and pick up your drop bag. But we will try our best to get the used ones back to headquarters as quickly as we can. That's not always the case, just depending on drops and resupply runs. But we'll work our best to get those back from Dixie Mine. Pacers are available for the 50-mile. The layout of the 50-mile course, you run in essence, a 40-mile loop and then a 10-mile loop, and you can have a pacer for that final 10-mile loop. And that is right at the start-finish is where you pick up your pacer. They don't need to sign a waiver or pick up a bib. They can just grab you as you come through the start-finish and then go for your last 10-mile loop with you. No pacers for any other distance. And same thing with crew. If you have a crew, they're welcome to assist you at headquarters, but nowhere else. So spectating is open. There's a couple okay spots that are available to hike into. On course, if you're looking to watch your 50K or 50-mile runner, but if you're spectating, you can't provide aid. So tell your crew, if someone's going to come spectate you out on trails, you cannot take aid from them unless it is at the start-finish comp lot area of headquarters. So spectating is welcome, but crewing is not. We'll get into the aid stations. Every race has somewhat of an aid station. 5 Mile, we even have a little water drop for you. And they're all the traditional offerings. This year's race is sponsored by GOO. So we'll kind of go through here. And so GOO will have their drink mix, Roctane, at all of our aid stations. And we'll have like our traditional offerings, sandwiches and wraps and whatnot at most of them. And that'll change throughout the day depending on the time of the day. But our one aid station that we do have to be diligent of is Coach Whip, and that will just be for 50K and 50-mile runners. That is our hike-in aid station, so everything that we, tomorrow being Thursday, myself and some other staff members and volunteers will be hiking, backpacking all the equipment into that aid station. So it's very, very difficult to resupply that one. We'll have plenty of water and electrolytes out there. But the food offerings will be limited at Coach Whip because we're really focused on just getting the hydration, the electrolytes, and the fluid out for the runners. And then the food offering it'll be mostly like prepackaged fruit snacks, things of that nature. But they won't be doing any cooking, and the food options will be limited at Coach Whip. So be cognizant of that. And you're welcome to take as much as you want. We should have plenty of water out there with the number of volunteers hauling equipment tomorrow. But just be cognizant of that is a hike and aid station. And if you're in the 50K, it's only another 2 miles to Dixie. So I advise if you're in the 50K, if you're in the 50K, it's another 2 miles to Dixie. 50-mile has to do the series of climbs. But just to be respectful of the other runners, I would take Coach Whip as more of a top-off station instead of a full aid station. So if you have like a bladder or something like that, just take enough to get you through the next 2 miles to Dixie and then do your big fill-up at Dixie and use Coach Whip as more of just a Band-Aid to cover that distance. It'll just help us out because the last thing we want to do is run out of water, although we should have plenty of water out there. Just be mindful that there may be people behind you and that one will not be getting any resupply. And then we'll just hit on the weather before we get into the courses. It's looking fantastic, almost perfect running conditions. High's looking like 64 for Fountain Hills. It should be sunny, so still wear that sunscreen. It can get a little bit warm midday, even with just a high of only in the 60s. And on the plus side, the lows don't look too crazy low. We're looking at 40s for the low overnight. So sometimes when you get a nice mild day, you start your day in the 30s, but this one should be a beautiful day all around. Should have a nice sunrise coming up over 4 peaks. It should be a great day to run. If you're running the Mayhem night runs or doubling down, might want to bring a jacket just later in the day. Even 50K and 50 milers, if you're planning on going past sunset, might be good to have a jacket in the drop bag when you come through headquarters for that last 10-mile loop, because once the sun goes down, it will get chilly pretty quickly. With that said, let's jump into our courses. So if you're here for the pertinent information, we've covered everything that I want to say, and we'll just jump into the courses now and just work longest distance to shortest, and I'll try to breeze through these. So starting with the 50-mile. Same course as last year. It was new as of last year. We do get more into the McDowell Mountains, which is nice. The preserve won't let us cross the ridge, so going to Tom's Thumb would be awesome, but we do climb up East End, almost to Tom's Thumb, but not quite, and that's just a permitting issue. We can't go anywhere on the west. We have to stay on the east side of the mountains. Can't cross the ridge to the west side. So we do have a series of out and backs, and I'll explain that when we get to that section. So this looks a little confusing down here, but we'll get into that as well. So let's get rid of everything except for the 50-mile and pilot. So 50 mile is going to start out heading almost due north on Escondido Trail. Escondido is kind of rolly, and it obviously switches back a lot on itself. So it's pretty bumpy, but it's really early in the race. You'll make your way generally uphill to Escondido Aid Station. If you've run Javelina, this is the same location as Rattlesnake Ranch. You'll cross the road. From here, you'll be on Pemberton Trail, and you'll make your way up towards Granite Tank Aid Station. This is along probably 5 or so miles of gentle uphill, but the trail is very smooth. Once we hit Granite Tank, we go into the preserve on Rock Knob and then start heading south. There's a gorgeous trail right up here inside the preserve and kind of going to come back into the park. And then we'll reach Coach Whip Aid Station. And again, this is our limited aid station. Now from after Coach Whip, we're going to be doing 2 out and backs. And there will be peak managers, what we call them, for these sections. So after Coach Whip, 50 milers will turn and head up East End. And as you can see on this graph down here, it's a pretty steep climb. I think it's like 1,300 feet in just over a mile, especially this section right here. So the trail's in good shape. It's a little rocky, some switchbacks, but gorgeous climb. Once you get to the summit, there will be 2 volunteers up there that will take your time and give you a high five, and then you make your way back down. So there will be someone there at the turnaround at all these out and backs. So 2 volunteers at East End, then you will descend to East End, and you'll go up Wingate. Wingate's pretty runnable. I'd say East End is like a hiking type climb. Wingate is pretty easy trail. You could likely run all the way up to that pass if you'd like to. Again, there will be 2 volunteers at Wingate to do the same thing. And then coming down here after Wingate, we'll go directly to Dixie Mine Aid Station. So you can grab some aid. You'll turn around and then head towards Thompson Peak. And this is your big climb of the day. It's nasty. It's mean. It's paved for a lot of it. And I don't think that's a good thing. It really can start to get the balls of your feet sore. But it's very, very steep. We're talking upwards of 40% in some spots. Paved in some spots, gravel in some spots. And then our friends Ross Kiewit and Bubba Kavanaugh would be up there handing out Capri Suns and taking your names down as they have the last 4-ish years. That's kind of the location up on top of Thompson. After you tag Thompson, that's the last big climb of the day. Make your way down. The descent can be worse than the climb sometimes. You'll hit Dixie Mine for the second time. This time after you go through Dixie, you start heading back towards Gate Aid Station. And after gate, you go directly to the start finish, and you actually run through the finish line before starting your last 10-mile loop. This area right here kind of looks tricky, but this is actually a tunnel and a bridge, so you're never crossing the trail or anything like that. You're actually going under it and then over it. So I'll actually bring up just the 10-mile right now just to show you that 10-mile course. And then 10-milers, this is your course as well, so let's just explain it. So 50-milers, this is you at mile 40. 10-milers, this is you at the start of your race. So 50-milers, after coming through the start-finish, you go out generally the same way. First loop, you head north towards Escondido Trail. This one, you're going to stay on the long loop. Little climb for the first mile out of the start, but it is gradual. It is runnable. You'll make your way down over the tunnel on the bridge this time. This will be, if you're in the 50-mile, this will be two-way traffic. If you're in the 10-mile, you'll probably be going through this before any 50K or 50-milers are through here. But it's just a little bit of two-way traffic for about 2 miles till you get to gate aid station. 50-milers, you'll be hitting this for the second time. 10-milers, this is the only aid that you have on your course. So aid at mile 4 for the 10-milers. You'll work south and then complete the rest of the long loop. This is like a mountain bike track, so there's a lot of like washes and up and down. It is a challenging way to end a 50-mile, but if you're just running the 10-mile, it's a great little loop. And then you'll head northbound, still some washes, and then just kind of a drag, very gradual uphill the last half mile or so to the finish line. So that is the 10-mile course and the last 10 miles of the 50-mile. That's actually also the first 10 miles of the 25K. 25K runners, you're just going to be running the 10-mile course and then the 5-mile course in that order. So let's jump over to the 50K. 50K is really similar to the 50-mile, with the exception of all those pesky climbs. So 50K flat, fast is how I would describe it. There are some slower sections, but generally this is a very quick course. So first few miles on Escondido, a little bit rolly, a lot of clay out there. Long gradual climb through Escondido and all the way to Granite Tank Aid Station. Gets a little rocky in this section. You'll make your way through Coach Whip Aid. Again, try to use this just as a top-off location. You're going to skip all those out and backs up the climbs and just run directly to Dixie Mine. After you hit Dixie Mine, you will fly down this trail. This is nice and smooth to gate. And then you finish by going directly over after gate. You'll climb over T-Bone Ridge, which is this one little steep hill. It's very short, but it's really steep. And then some nice switchbacks coming into the finish. Great way to finish off the race. You'll see this clay pit, water only. We don't even put this on our aid station charts, but we do put a table and some igloos out there just so you can have, there's no electrolytes, but it's just so the 5-milers can have something on their course. But if you see a table with water, you're welcome to use it. But that is just basically a water self-serve table out there, kind of emergencies only, and if the 5-milers need anything in their run. So that's the 50K. We went through the 10-mile. Let's go through the 25K, and then I'll just kind of double down with the 5-mile. So the 25K starts with that 10-mile loop, which we already went through. So we're going to kind of go this way, and you're going to come all the way through the ComTrack lot from this southeast side and work your way back up through the start-finish for the 25K. And then on your second loop, you'll be following the 5-mile course. And your 5-mile course is going to look like this. And again, it looks like it kind of jumps up through itself, but that is a bridge and a tunnel again. So 5-milers, you're going to start by going a little uphill for the first mile or so. And then a nice fast descent. You'll be taking a bridge right here going over the trail. You're going to fly down this hill, then it kind of flattens out. This is kind of a little, this hill right here is steep. It's on like a mountain bike course as well. You'll go up. You'll never go all the way to Gate Aid Station. So this is a critical turn right here where 5-milers will take a right. Then you'll hit that little water stop before going through the tunnel, climb up over T-Bone Ridge, some switchbacks, and then coast your way to the finish. So that covers all of the courses. Lastly, we do have our rides on Sunday. So if you want to triple down, you can jump in the rides on Sunday. With the rides happening on Sunday, that means we're going to be sweeping a lot of the course on Monday. If you do want extra trail time, there are volunteer opportunities to help sweep the course starting at 8 a.m. on Monday. I'll be out there. And yeah, skip work, get some trail time in. But as far as the race goes, we're looking at a gorgeous weekend. I'm really excited. This is the biggest event of the Dirt Series, the Desert Runner Trail Series. We're looking at over 800 runners in all the distances combined. Should be great weather and a beautiful day. And I can't wait to see you all out there. Thank you so much.